year, fourth year, seeing all the faces on the, on the Zooms. I mean, at first it wasn't always Zoom; it was just mostly live in person. But seeing the evolution of certain people on the call, it's exciting. Like there's everyday people, like average people, like us, when we first started, that just went from zero to hero, making six figures or more than that, and being able to do things on social media that you would think are just fake. And it's crazy because like a lot of you, I want to get a good understanding of who's here. Like, how long have you guys been in the platform for? Drop it in the chat. I want to see, like, I want to get a rough estimation of like what you guys, or how new you are, because I'll tell you, there's some of you, anyone that's joined in the last, I'd say, 2 years during the pandemic and all that craziness that was happening. Wow, a lot of people that are very new. That's really cool to see. But you guys know, when you were on social media and you were scrolling through TikTok and you saw people with like the nice cars, traveling the world, living their life, going out and doing things on a weekday, like those people came from this. Isn't that crazy to think about? Like those people came from this. They came from entrepreneurship. And we happen to be one branch of that. But honestly, just saying it for what it is, this is the best branch of it, because you're not alone. You're working with other people that actually care about your success. And so what we're going to go do today is pretty much go over a few of the skills that I think are very important into building a successful business online, and also what you need to do to start building worldwide. So today, GC Champions is in over 50 countries. GC Nation is probably in, about the same, or if not a little bit more. I'm happy to say we have the most international team. I know everyone here is only English speaking, but we have a whole bunch of other teams that wouldn't even understand this call, that are, coming from other calls that we have for GCC. But one of the things, like we have what's the next big event that we have, team? Where are we going next month? Funny enough, I didn't go last year, so I'm excited to be there this year. And more so, I mean, I don't know if anyone's from Atlanta. I don't know if there's anything really that crazy there, but I'm excited to be there for the people that I'm getting to meet, and for the, you know, Amsterdam. Yeah. So Atlanta for the North Americans, and Amsterdam, I think it's Rotterdam actually, in the Netherlands, for everyone that's going to be in Europe. So those are our two main focuses for the first half of the year. And with the Atlanta event coming around, all of you, anyone who can speak English, honestly, if you can, I know Kiki actually in the Netherlands is coming to Atlanta, so that's really cool that people in Europe are actually making that mission to fly all the way down here on the west side of the world, and make it and show up to an event like this. So if you're in the US right now and you have excuses, eliminate the excuses, because the only person that you're hurting in that situation is yourself. I'll tell you guys a story. When I first started, I started in September of 2018, and I was 20 years old. Now I'm 24. At 20 years old, I had no experience. I was studying biomedical science at university here in Toronto, Canada. That's where I'm from. I'm from Toronto. I have Latino parents, so very, very old school, go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and make the family proud and all sort of stuff. And I was on the track. I was right on track to, I was ready to go and go to med school and do all that kind of stuff. But as a kid, I think everyone has the entrepreneurship bug here, right? For sure you do, because you're on this call clearly because you want something different for yourself. And for me, that was the case, because I was going my day-to-day life, trying different things when I was a kid, because I wanted to be great. If you guys saw my story, I put on my story. As a kid, I always, sought out to be great. I just didn't know what vehicle it was. But now that I found this, I'm glad and I have peace that, I found something, because there's always that part of me. I wasn't sure if it was the money. I wasn't sure if it was just being recognized. I wasn't sure if it was, traveling the world or whatever, just living a life that's different than most people. I don't know what it was from those things that attracted me the most to wanting to do something different. That once I had the opportunity to go outside of the bubble that I was in and what society created for me growing up, I was like, you know what? I have to take a chance, because if I don't take the chance now, at some point down the line, it might not be possible for me anymore. Not because of age, not because age limits us, but more because the longer you go into that with that mindset, and the longer you live your life with that mindset, the harder it is to get out. Yes or yes? The harder it is to get out. Because the more you're in the 9 to 5, the more you're in, not that if you guys want to do that for your life and this is a side hustle, then by all means, all power to you. Definitely do that. But I couldn't see myself doing that. You guys get it? Once you hit a certain age, now you're comfortable. You have bills. You maybe have a family. And now taking the risk of being an entrepreneur is a lot harder than it would have been when you were younger. Does that mean it's too late at any age? Not really. I've seen people do this of all ages. But I knew in my heart that I needed to do something different ASAP, or else it wasn't gonna, I'd probably end up forgetting about it and then maybe revisiting it later on when it was too late. So that's my story. And the reason I share that is because a lot of you are in the same situation, except the only difference between me and you is that when I was on the other end of the screen, it was someone else, not me, speaking out here and talking about their story. And I was listening to these people, going over their success and how much they travel the world and how much money they make. And not that we can do that anymore because it's not compliant. But if you guys want to look at the ranks and see how much money the leaders make, then you can go ahead and do that. But we can't say it. But just know that it's definitely life changing. And the thing is, it's time. Yeah, time obviously was on my side. I was able to learn a lot of things in the time that I've been here. But more importantly, I took action into accomplishing my goals. And I think that was the biggest separator for me and a lot of the people that joined in the same month that I did, because the people that joined in the same month that I did, not a single one of them is here today. I'm the last one standing. And I want you guys to be the last one standing that started in your month or your year or your whatever. I want that for you guys. So the training today, we're going to go over a couple of the skills. And if you guys know the 7 skills of our profession, which is network marketing, you guys call it whatever you want, affiliate marketing. At the end of the day, we're networkers, right? We build a business by helping people, talking to people. Yes, there's sales. Yes, there's social media. Yes, there's all this kind of stuff. And I feel like what we do can be so complicated to explain sometimes, but it's important to leverage what you have. So first of all, before I get into that, if you have a ticket for Atlanta, drop a 3 in the chat. If you have a ticket for Atlanta, drop a 3 in the chat. If you're brand new and this is like your first training, welcome. But I'm gonna just let you know that in-person events are something else. And if you want to go ahead and get your ticket, I definitely recommend so, especially if you're in the US. I know flights shouldn't be crazy. It shouldn't be crazy expensive. But like I was saying, my first trip that I went to, I actually had to borrow money from, funny enough, our ambassador leader, Rosanna, because at the time she was not an ambassador leader. She wasn't even a builder in the platform. She was my sister. Well, she is still my sister. That hasn't changed. But, I had to ask her for money and I paid her back. But I needed that money on the spot. And I did what I had to do. And I went to the trip. And that's the trip that changed my life. So I definitely recommend, you guys go ahead and take advantage of that. We'll drop the link in the chat later. But aside from that, and for those in the Netherlands and all around Europe, same thing. If you guys want to come down, I recommend it. Don't bankrupt yourself, but like if you're young, take chances, take risks, because it's better to do them now than later. Okay. So the training today, a couple things I want to go over, and I'm going to go over 3 things. If we have time, I'll go over 4. But when you're starting your business for the first time, a lot of people ask themselves, like, what do I need to do to make money right away? Like, you've been here for a couple of weeks or you've been here for a couple of months. It's like, well, I haven't made money yet. So what do I got to do? The first thing that you got to do is obviously plug into the system, use the system. So I want you guys to write this down. No takers or money makers, right? And there's another one that I heard recently. It's leaders or readers. So that's a good one. I like that. But no takers or money makers. So grab your notebooks. I want the culture in this on this team to be a couple of things. 1, cameras on at all times. I want to see all the cameras on because I want to see all your, beautiful faces. Number 2, I'd love to see notes in front of you. The reason why is because, I came from school, so I'm tired of taking notes for things that I'm not going to know, a year later. But I am okay with taking notes for things that are going to make me money. So, okay, cool. Number 1 is systems. Okay, systems. So if I'm in GC Champions right now and I know that I got started, I paid some money. I paid $100 to $1,500, whatever I paid for. I know that I have a system. Ready to launch business is one of those things where we created that with the purpose of making life easier for all of you. And you guys can go ahead and launch yourself with that. If you haven't finished phase 1, you shouldn't even be here if you haven't finished phase 1, but phase 1 will be that, that launch, watching the videos, getting into the mindset, I'm the guy that's in the videos, if you guys didn't realize. But that's it's good to plant the vision and the mindset of what you guys need to be successful, because a lot of people try this and a lot of people don't do it. Okay. The system's important because also when you go into calls, I want you guys to write this down. Calls, right? Calls are super important. Now, I hated online Zoom. Like I hated lectures because I was half in school in person and half in school on Zoom because of COVID and stuff. And I hated the online portion. Yes, I could wake up and open my laptop and like whatever, but I didn't like it because it's just I missed the physical interaction with people. But when it came to the online component of this, I actually almost liked it more than the in-person. Why? Because I'm wearing shorts right now. Y'all can't see it. Like I'm dressed casual right now. I could, if I wanted to, I could go, every time from time to time, especially at events, you guys will see me dressed up. But like I love number one that, and I love to see people all around the world and connect with all of you around the world more than that, because it doesn't matter. There's no borders. Like you guys are from, like, drop where you're from while I continue this training. Drop where you're from in the world, and then you guys will understand what I'm talking about. So the system is important because you get to leverage things that make your life easier, help you launch properly, and be successful entrepreneurs. The thing that a lot of people don't have when it comes to launching their online business is they don't have a system that helps them, regardless of what language they speak, regardless of where they come from, what their experience level is, and they don't have the support and community. So I want you guys to write down community also in point number one. Okay, community. I'm going to give you a very simple formula. Okay, very simple formula that I've seen in the last 4 years that I've been in this platform. The people that are in the community the most, okay, the people that are in the community the most and the people that are on the calls the most are the ones that make the most money. It's that simple. You show up in the chats, you show up on the calls, you're going to make a lot of money. Why? Because you've dedicated yourself to, you've really committed to having a routine that stems far outside of what you're doing now. A lot of you work a job you don't like, or maybe some of you work a job that you like, but you don't see yourself in long term. A lot of you are in a family that maybe doesn't support you. A lot of you are in situations physically that aren't the best for you, and this is your escape from that. How many of you relate to that? Because I had to. I didn't come from a rough background or like have like a horrible upbringing. I'm not saying that at all. But when I first started, people around me didn't understand it. The people that were closest to me didn't understand it. They thought this was just a phase or something I was going through, or like it's part of like growing up. Like if people go through puberty, they thought I was going through puberty at like 20 years old. They thought I was going through some random stuff. But it was me really taking my life into my own hands. And me being able to escape and be surrounded with like-minded people, even if it was virtually, was everything for me. It did everything for me mentally that I needed to have, and gave me all the skill sets I needed to obtain to start making, a full-time income, then a six-figure income, then multiple six figures, then having a multi-million-dollar bit. Like I couldn't do that without the community. Travel to all the places that I've been to and do the things that I do and get to meet all of you guys. And I'm talking to you 4 years in the future. So this is my goal is to make sure that all of you see the success that I've had in a lot shorter time. Because I think what I've done is, I think it's cool, but I think a lot of you can do a lot better, a lot faster. And that's the point of why we have this. Okay. So that's number one, systems and community. Okay. Number two is leverage. Leverage. So leverage is important. Leverage is the most important word that we have in this profession. And this is something that Anthony says. He says, leverage is the most important word that we have in this profession. The reason why is because a lot of you want to reinvent the wheel. And I think Megan talked about this, right, in the chat today. Or was it today or yesterday? I think it was a really good point, because you have everything you need to be successful here. You have the right people around you. Now, leveraging, so it's kind of like something we say a lot when we present to people is, and you probably heard this if you've had any of our, our trainers on when they've onboarded you. And it's, if you can have the personal trainer and all the equipment, and you can go to the gym. I love using the gym as an analogy. You could have everything that you have there to succeed and be fit. But a lot of people don't even choose to step foot in the gym. Right. And that's the first problem. Then some people go to the gym, but they don't really give it their all, and they go like once a week. Then you have like the New Year's resolution people that say, I'm gonna go to, man, every year it's so funny. It's like watching it's like a game. I see people going to the gym for like the first 3 days and they're out. And this isn't just that. It's like school too. School, everyone has the same tools and resources, but people do very differently because of their work ethic. So you understand the point that I'm trying to make. This is no different than anything that you've seen in your life. And a lot of you have been through a lot harder. And you have the tools and resources to make you a lot of money. Now, school was education. The gym is fitness. I don't know, anything else is anything else, or sports. This is financial freedom. And this is how you get that. And so you get to choose, all right, am I gonna use these tools, or am I just gonna kind of pay my money and just let my wallet have a hole in it for the next few months? Because $174 a month isn't cheap. It's not cheap, but I'm telling you, in comparison to a lot of the things that you guys are spending on a monthly basis, it is. I had to struggle. I was broke. I had only $1,000 credit card limit because of how bad my credit was. I didn't even have a credit. Like, it was so bad. And I maxed that out, and I had $200 to my name. So again, I had to figure things out, right? And I got started with this platform 4 years ago. I want you guys to really leverage everything that you have, leverage the tools, leverage the community, and leverage everything that you learn. Leverage your mentor. That's the last point of number 2. Leverage your mentors. Your mentors know a lot more than most of you. If they've been around a lot longer, than they've built experience. And this is why we listen to them, right? So if you've ever had the chance to have a one-on-one call with me, you guys know that a lot of the times when I'm training, I go off my experience and I go off things that I've been through, because that's more important than what I think. What I know is more important than what I think, right? And what I know are things that I've experienced firsthand from being a young entrepreneur. I'm still young. I wouldn't say I'm old, unless you guys think I'm old. I don't think 24 is old. I'm going to be 25 soon, which is kind of scary. But, I started at 20, and I was, young, dumb, and, full of excuses, right? So like it was different. It was different. So I'm just letting you guys know leveraging is important, right? Leveraging your team, leveraging your mentors, leveraging all of that. And I promise you that the time that you've been here is going to feel very long in a good way. And I like that, because it's almost like you have a slow aging hack with this platform. Okay. So number three. So I gave a training on before I say number 3, I gave a training to the VIPs, and I'm not going to give it here because the VIPs elites only. So if you're not an elite member, you don't have access to those trainings. But if you are an elite member, you will have access to those trainings, which is really good. I'm going to take one little piece from that, though. And one of the pieces from that was sacrifice. Okay. So it was a really big topic we talked about, sacrifice. So what do we say? System, leverage, sacrifice, right? Sacrifice is number 3. The reason why this is important is because I know the reason why some of you and most of you probably won't be here this time next year is because you failed to sacrifice. Every year that I go, and I don't mean to say this to be rude, but some of you need to hear this, because this is the slap in the face that you needed to hear to be successful. Trust me, I needed a lot of them. I needed to get beat up by my mentors, like mentally, because they rewired my brain, because I was in an old form of thinking, and the new Christian needed a new form of thinking. So he needed to hear the truth. And the truth and the fact of the matter is that a lot of you guys will quit on yourself before you see success. And the reason why is because most people, they encounter different issues and obstacles in their life, and that's it. That's the last straw. I didn't make money in my first 2 months. I'm out. I've been paying this monthly fee for 6 months, and I haven't profited. I'm out. I built a team and I built an income, and I lost my income. I'm out. All of the above have happened to me multiple times. I didn't quit. And I talked about this on my podcast. It's like that picture of the guy mining gold, right? And there's the 2 levels, and the one of them is like still going, and they're right there, and the other one quit literally like 1 inch from the gold. You know what I mean? And that is the situation for most of you. Let me switch cameras. I'm looking at the same 5 people. I don't look at the rest. That's the situation for most of you, right? It is your failure to stay consistent and sacrifice that is preventing you from getting to that next level. A lot of you have been waiting years. Some people even wait decades, but it's worth it. Maybe not like 4 or 5 decades, but like a decade. There's a story of a guy that I met and I shook hands with, and his name is Jordan Adler, and I really respect this guy because his story is very unique. And what his story is he was working in this business for 9 years and did not make anything significant. After I think 3 or 4 years, he started making $1,000 a month, which, let's be real, guys, a lot of you out earn that at your job for sure. $1,000 a month isn't a lot. After 9 years, he was making like I think $3,000 or $4,000 a month. And in the 10th year, he cleared over $4 million. Can you imagine that? Over $4 million in his 10th year. Most people wouldn't last 10 years. I don't even know if I would. I would like to think so. I would like to think so. But it's tricky. But the point is a lot of you won't have to wait that long because, again, he was building this business in a much different time. Like 20 years ago, this industry, this profession looked a lot different. Social media wasn't used the way it is now. You can't reach millions of people from one post. I see all of you on social media. I see Ovi, I see Michelle, I see Brady, I see Jackie, I see Edwin, I see Kiki, I see Sean. I see all of you guys. All of you posting your TikToks, and there's a lot more of you. I'm just shouting a few of you out. All of you in the chat posting your TikToks. All of you posting your Instagram reels. You guys are doing it. So why is sacrifice important? Sacrifice is important because it eliminates the mindset that you have of making excuses. I had to sacrifice friends. I had to sacrifice gaming, which was one thing. I had to sacrifice drinking and partying. I had to sacrifice, doing a lot of things for leisure. I had to sacrifice spending time with my family. I sacrificed my why to serve my why later. I sacrificed time with my family so I can give my family what they needed after. And now I'm in position to do that, and it's awesome. It's an amazing feeling. I'm telling you, the best feeling that I have is being able to show my parents things that I can do that I can never do before and support them in a way that I couldn't. Like, I waited really long to get a car, but the look on their face when I got it was like, oh shit, like this is real now. And the reason why was because my dad would always tell me, and I told Edwin this, my dad would always tell me, he'd be like, hey, Christian, you say you make a lot of money and I believe it, but I don't see it. And that's because they don't see my bank accounts. They don't have access to it, and they don't see my, investments. So if they saw that, I think that would not be good for their health. But just putting that in front of them, they're like I can tell the look in their eye was like, oh, I believe you now. It's not like I bought a Lambo or something. Like I just kept it, like it's modest. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. Sacrifice is important because if you're not willing to do that, the quote of, the 1% are willing to do what 99% aren't willing to do, the sacrifice is key there. Okay, so that's number 3. And we'll get to number 4 because I think that actually went by a bit quicker than I thought it would. Number 4 is that commitment. And a lot of people say, so commitment's an expensive trait. Don't expect it from cheap people, right? This is something I'd always say at the beginning of every presentation I would go to. Commitment is an expensive trait. Don't expect it from cheap people. So if people show up late, that tells me all I need to know about you when it comes to events. If you show up, like there was, like, honestly, like if you show up really late, at a certain point, I'm not going to let you in. Like, it is what it is, because you failed to respect the time of other people. On a Zoom, at some point, if I see someone join 20, 30 minutes in, I'm not going to let you in. Because it means to me that you haven't been able to, unless you have like a really good excuse and you let me know beforehand, then sure. But even then, it's like, you guys don't understand that how you show up in your business directly reflects in your income. A lot of you are thinking, oh, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to try it out for, a couple minutes a day. If that's your mindset, I want you to please cancel your monthly membership, please. I don't want you to waste your money. Like, I don't care if iGenius loses money for that. Like, if you're gonna try this, there's no point in even doing it. I want you guys to really put your foot forward and commit to this. Does that mean this needs to be your be all end all, like 20 hours? No, it doesn't mean that. I know if you can commit an hour a day and you can do that consistently, you'll beat someone that's trying to do 8 hours a day that's doing it full time. because I've seen very unproductive people that have a full day and very productive people that only have a limited time. I think what made me successful as a student in this was that I had to really time block and I had to compress time frames and I had to make sure that I was committing and had intensity and efficiency in the short time that I had. So building an international business, building a worldwide, having a worldwide expansion is about committing to do these things. And it is your intention behind every thought that you have that carries forward your plan to action into accomplishing the goals. Okay? It's that intention and that commitment that will get you to where you need to be. It's not just thinking about it and believing it'll happen. Yes, those are important key components, but it's actually intentionally going towards these things and making it happen. So like if I'm going to look at like Calvin, or I look at Gina, or I'm looking at Jackie, like, are you intentionally doing things every day to, to work towards what you're doing? Have you committed? I'm just shouting a few of you out. Have you really committed? Regardless of what goes on in your life, it's like when you get married. What do they say? For better or for worse? You're married to the game now. At least I hope you are. Right? So you're going to do this business for better or for worse. I don't care if shit happens. Shit happens. Life happens, right? Things happen. But you got to be willing to go forward. And if you want to be a successful individual, what successful individuals do is they're like I don't know how to make a good example of this, but it's kind of like light, right? You know, light, like a beam of light. Light doesn't stop. It just keeps going. And you guys got to be that in your life, right? So if things are constantly blocking you, that's great. It builds your story. Imagine getting to 6 figures and your story is, oh, I joined in 3 months, I hit 6 figures. That would be so boring. I wouldn't want to hear that. If you're on stage, I wouldn't want to hear you on stage. I want to hear the heartbreak. I want to hear the hard stuff. I want to hear, I got my car taken away from me. I had to live on the street for like a week. I had to, I don't know, I had to eat crumbs from the garden. I don't care. Like whatever it is, that story is interesting to me. I don't want that to happen to you. But the harder the story is, the more entertaining and the more inspiring it is for people to see. I want the drama. Yeah, exactly. Because I know that if you can come from that and go to this, then you're going to be massively successful. But then some people are like, oh, my video didn't go viral. I'm out. That's it. I quit. How do you think that looks? You clearly didn't care about yourself. So I'm going to leave you off with this last point. If you have a strong why and you like end up leaving, I'm not going to be heartbroken. I want you guys to be like, a year from now, Christian, hey, look, you said we were all going to quit, but I'm here and I'm at this rank now. I showed you. It'll be good. I'll be like, good. I want you guys to think of it this way. If you quit for a reason like that, then you didn't care about your kids. You didn't care about your family. You didn't care about yourself. You didn't care about your mom. You didn't care about your dad. You didn't care about your sister. You didn't care about your brother. Because whenever I came to a breaking point, I had to think like that to myself. I had to honestly. So you guys see how this might come off the wrong way to some people? You know why I'm talking to you like this? It's because I needed that conversation with myself. Because I almost quit so many times and I said, yo, Christian, you love your mom so much and you want to back out now. So I thank God every day that I was able to continue and keep pushing forward. And so those are my four tips. Okay. Is that commitment. It's that commitment and that intention in the last point that is going to help drive your actions forward. Okay. Now we talked about worldwide expansion. So why do I mention that? I saw Romania. I saw Netherlands. I see Victoria, British Columbia, Kelowna, BC, Mauritius, Illinois, Maryland, Canada, all these places. All of you are in a different place in the world right now, and you can build your business how you want to. So look, this is my assignment to all of you before February comes around. I want you guys to think of how you're going to bring this business to your people. just the way that we did 4 years ago in Canada, and now it's everywhere here. I want all of you to really think about how you're going to bring this to people. And if you're not 100% sure of how to do it, this is where you ask your mentors, and then you could ask me too. But I want you to really think about that in the back of your minds, because again, success leaves clues. Everything that we've done to get to a certain point, there's a formula to it. And all we got to do is have the right people in the right areas give you that formula, and then you can do whatever you want and see all the success that you want to see. And I'm not here to be a motivational speaker. I'm just here to be someone that talks to you as a friend and as a mentor. I'm just being real with you. You can do it, and take all that information and apply it. Okay. I think there's a quote, something about knowledge on ice. I forget what it is. Ignorance on fire, knowledge on ice. But the point is don't leave these notes in a random place in your house that you forget about. Really look over it and apply it. So that's the major message for today. By the end of February, I'd like to have more places launched around the world, and I want to start setting up international events. Like I said, for those of you in North America, I want to see you in Atlanta. If you're in Europe and you can make the trip over, I'd love to see you in Atlanta. But in May, we're going to have our events in Rotterdam, in the Netherlands, and I will see all of you there. And the point is I want to have a lot more trips for this team, and I want to see a lot more success stories, a lot more six-figure earners. And at the end of the day, we have the name that we have for a reason. So I want you guys to take this, be champions, be excellent, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay? Take care. Peace.